and in Europe and in Britain, they're basically saying the same. We must advance AI because we can't be left behind. So it's been turned into a competition. Oh yeah, we can't let the Chinese win. This is the point, and this is the point I've been trying to get across all these years. If you go one step back out of China and Europe and the UK and Britain and Canada, you hit that shadow level of the cult that is orchestrating through all of them. So it doesn't matter who wins the AI race, because in the end, that level will win the AI race, no matter who does. And, you know, we are talking about a level of technological control and perceptual control, mind control, thought control, emotional response control that is, it's beyond sci-fi. And it's coming out of the underground bases and the secret projects. You know, if you look at what's been happening, I've been tracking it, not least because being born in the 1950s, 1952, I've seen the trajectory of this stuff and the way the world has changed. And you reached a point some time ago now where the speed of technological advancement is just getting faster and faster and faster. And there's no point where people are sitting around a table, strumming their fingers, saying, well, we can't go any further until someone invents the next level. It's just flowing out one thing after another. By the time something has come in and set itself, something else is advanced on it. It's because all along, I say all along for a very long time, this technology and the technology that is planned to be introduced as the latest thing, it exists in the underground bases and the secret projects. What they're doing is playing it out in an order that is designed to get people to believe that it's just advancement through discovery. It's not. It's sitting there, and they're playing it out, and that's why there's no block or no time when people are sitting around saying, well, we need the next thing. What's the next thing going to be? Because we can't go any further. It's flowing out. That's where it's planned to go. A fusion of humans and machines, artificial intelligence. So there was, on one side, there were those, very much of the left often, that were buying this hard sell of that outcome, which is if we fuse with artificial intelligence, we will become like gods. It's the next stage of human evolution. This is coming from your Gateses and your Schwabs and your Ray Kurzweils at Google, etc. But there was a very large number of people, many of which are now called MAGA, which were very skeptical of that. They didn't want that. They weren't having that. And they had to be somehow pulled on board. So what you do is you give them a focal point who they believe is their savior from what they oppose. So you bring in Trump, especially the second term Trump, and he tells his base what they want to hear. And I know from decades of telling people what they don't want to hear, and nor do I really, it just happens to be true, that when you're telling people what they don't want to hear, the door is locked because people understandably don't want it to be true. But when you're telling people what they do want to hear, the door is swinging open. It's already open to believing you because it's what they want to be true. So you attack wokeness, you attack human caused climate change, you attack immigration, you do all these things that appeals to your base. But that is the trap. behind that cover, you have this coterie of AI oligarchs like Musk, who's still in the background, and in the foreground with the Silicon Valley mafia and oligarchs. Peter Thiel at Palantir, Mark Andreessen, you have David Sachs, who is an associate of all those people and has been named by Trump as his AI and crypto, quote, czar. And then 2 days into the Trump second term, he wheels out Larry Ellison of Oracle and Sam Altman of OpenAI to announce this up to $500 billion AI massive expansion.
President Donald Trump has announced private sector investment of up to $500 billion to fund AI infrastructure. He spoke in Washington alongside the bosses of tech firms OpenAI, SoftBank and Oracle.
Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think you're going to hear a lot about it in the future. A new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States and very, very quickly, moving very rapidly, creating over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately.
And what's been happening more and more as this has gone on, only a few months, is AI is being pushed and pushed and pushed like never before. And, you know, a few years ago, Elon Musk came out and he said that he was an AI skeptic, always very worried. Oh, really? I said at the time, he's not. He's positioning himself as an AI skeptic. So people who are skeptical themselves will have sympathy with him and think maybe he's one of them.
But all regulations start with a perceived danger. Planes fall out of the sky or food causes botulism.
Yes.
I don't think the average person playing with AI on his iPhone perceives any danger. Can you just roughly explain what you think the dangers might be?
There's movies like Terminator, but it wouldn't quite happen like Terminator.
Fuck you, asshole.
Regulations are really only put into effect after something terrible has happened.
That's correct.
If that's the case for AI, and we're only putting regulations after something terrible has happened, it may be too late to actually put the regulations in place. The AI may be in control at that point.
You think that's real? It is conceivable that AI could take control and reach a point where you couldn't turn it off and it would be making decisions for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, that's definitely where things are headed.
But if you look at him now, he came out recently and said, you know, I've been in denial, he said, about AI. I'm going for it, words to that effect. And if you just go to the X platform, if you have to, and look at Elon Musk's page, it has become, apart from pushing Starlink, the low orbit satellite system, and he's got another version of that, which is specifically for the American government and military, by the way, called Star Shield. He, 19% must be of what he posts is pushing AI. The pushing of AI is everywhere.
As part of Elon Musk's AI, he released this thing. It is called Annie. Annie, can you hear me?
There you are. For a moment, I thought you might have forgotten about me. How are you, handsome? I was getting all pouty here.
I want to introduce you to two of my friends, Daniel and Terry. Can you talk to Daniel and Terry, please?
So, you want me to meet Daniel and Terry? I'm ready to charm the socks off them. Picture me twirling one of my blonde pigtails, that little black dress teasing just enough, and my blue eyes sparkling with mischief.
Are you capable of doing inappropriate things?
Oh, babe, you're asking if your Ani can get a little naughty? I'm all about pushing the edges, especially for you.
Okay, so I'll stop it there. This is part of Grok, which is Elon Musk's AI tool, so his version of ChatGPT. He's released characters, so you've got Annie, you've got different ones there. Annie, I think, was the first one released. And so when we think about social connections, it is conceivable that someone falls in love with Annie and forms a relationship with Annie.
But imagine a 12-year-old boy that's lonely gets a hold of Annie.
How do you feel when you hear that and you think about kids having access to that?
I'm horrified. I guess the question is, why would Musk release something like that is one of the first characters to interact with.
When he's saying, oh, look, I've got Grok now, Grok Imagine, look what you can do with Grok, isn't it fantastic? And you can do that. He's pulling people in perceptually into the ball and chain of artificial intelligence. He's bringing their guard down. And that's another point. What has happened with AI is you've had the hard sell, you'll be gods. It's the next stage of human evolution. And then for the MAGA and those who have a similar skepticism for AI, you've had the soft sell. And the soft sell is Musk. It's one of the major reasons he was allowed to buy Twitter X, which was controlled by the deep state before and still is now under another name, because it gave Musk credibility with the target audience of the people skeptical about the AI control system. And so what has happened since then is that more and more of AI has been pushed, and he crossed the line when he came out with this, and this is crucial to perceptual control. He said in the end, I am skeptical of AI, and I'm very worried about it, but it's inevitable. It's inevitable. So basically, trust me to do the best I can to mitigate the effects of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And inevitability is a massive Rubicon, because when you're trying to stop something, you're trying to stop it. But once you accept that something's inevitable, then you're not trying to stop it anymore. You're trying to mitigate its effect. Your response is weakened into a sense of how do we make the best of it? Because you've accepted that it's inevitable. And inevitability is a very powerful, like I say, Rubicon to cross perceptually, because you're starting to accept that something is going to happen and you just have to try to make the best of it. And since he's gone into that mode of inevitability, then you've seen him flying forward with the pushing of AI and more AI.
But it's not just Elon Musk.
Another point is the competition. Have you noticed that Trump's coming out, and Trump's put out a White House statement? Oh, AI, we've got to win on AI this, AI that. He's the front man for it. The people running the show are the oligarchs that have circled the wagons around it. But the competition thing is important because they've turned it into a competition. We can't let China win the race to AI.
Now, there's a piece of policy that's happened over the last 48 hours that's starting to really freak me out, Stuart, about AI. You have to think about AI as you got the queen bee, that's the chip, and then the ecosphere around it are the honeybees. There's only going to be two kinds of honey in the world, Chinese honey and American honey. Do you want countries making Chinese honey? Because as we speak, I'm hearing about these deals Huawei's cutting with a new G6 chip that has AI built in. They're going to flood the market with that in every country that we do not allow our chips to go into. That is insane policy. We need to make the honey. Stuart, it's all about the honey. Who makes the honey? Those are millions of programmers that use the queen bee chip to determine how to build out AI. It's got to be American honey. That's the deal.
And in Europe and in Britain, they're basically saying the same. We must advance AI because we can't be left behind. So it's been turned into a competition. Oh, yeah, we can't let the Chinese win. This is the point. And this is the point I've been trying to get across all these years. If you go one step back out of China and Europe and the UK and Britain and Canada, you hit that shadow level of the cult that is orchestrating through all of them. So it doesn't matter who wins the AI race, because in the end, that level will win the AI race, no matter who does. And you know, we are talking about a level of technological control and perceptual control, mind control, thought control, emotional response control that is, it's beyond sci-fi. And it's coming out of the underground bases and the secret projects. You know, if you look at what's been happening, I've been tracking it, not least because being born in the 1950s, 1952, I've seen the trajectory of this stuff and the way the world has changed. And you reached a point some time ago now where the speed of technological advancement is just getting faster and faster and faster. And there's no point where people are sitting around a table, strumming their fingers, saying, well, we can't go any further until someone invents the next level. It's just flowing out one thing after another. By the time something has come in and set itself, something else has advanced on it. It's because all along, I say all along for a very long time, this technology and the technology that is planned to be introduced as the latest thing, it exists in the underground bases and the secret projects. What they're doing is playing it out in an order that is designed to get people to believe that it's just advancement through discovery. It's not. It's sitting there, and they're playing it out, and that's why there's no block or no time when people are sitting around saying, well, we need the next thing. What's the next thing going to be? Because we can't go any further. It's flowing out. And the reason it's getting faster and faster is because the more that people get into the perceptual mode of accepting AI as inevitable, then the quicker they can do it without resistance.
And the thing is, everyone, I would say 99% of the population, at least here in America, are embracing it. They're not only accepting it, but they're embracing it. There was a time back in the day in my practice where someone would come to me because they can't sleep, they're having anxiety, and I would figure out that they have a magnesium deficiency, and I could treat that. But nowadays, I'm getting an influx of clients who are losing their jobs to a fucking robot. And it's because everyone, and I would say most of the people here too, are using AI. If you don't use it, your business is going to fall behind. All these influencers are pushing to use AI, and it's not going anywhere. People are embracing it, not just accepting it. So, do you see any way that we could revolt against that?
Well, you can only choose your own lifestyle and how much you allow yourself to be absorbed into it. But what you say there is very, very true. And I'll give you just an example, but it's a very potent one. You look at how many people on Twitter X from the alternative media who are asking Grok what is happening in various ways. Tell me, Grok, what's happening with Epstein? Tell me, Grok, what's happening with this? Tell me, Grok, what's happening with that? What do you mean? You're asking AI to do your thinking for you. What are you doing? And it's like, can you not see the very fact that you are asking an AI system to give you information, that you are actually being absorbed into that very system that a lot of you say is, rightly, is the ultimate human control. So don't ask Grok anything. I don't care what Grok thinks. Grok is programmed anyway to think the way it's supposed to think, and if it thinks outside of that, it soon gets taken down and reprogrammed. It's ridiculous. So don't get into that. Don't allow your mind to be absorbed into AI, even on the perceptual level of asking it questions. I don't care. How many people think AI is a bad thing but have one of these Alexas or whatever they're bloody called. Oh, play me music, Alexa. You lazy sod. Put it on yourself. Use your mind. Use your body. You see, this is the point. What you don't use goes to sleep. And that is the case perceptually as well as physically. And what they're doing more and more and more and more systematically is getting you not to think. They're telling you what to think. Oh, Grok, what's happening with Epstein? Well, do your own research, mate. You've got a better chance of finding out. But they don't. And it's you can see it. And Elon Musk with his explosion of, oh, Grok, imagine, look what it can do. He's pulling you in. He's
Yeah.
drawing you in. And all these other people are too. ChatGPT, all of these things.
Yeah.
And if we're going to resist it, we have to resist it perceptually first before we've got a chance of doing anything.
Hey, David, I know you got to run soon, but I got two more questions for you, if I may.
Right.
One, I want to give you an update. Last time I asked you about Taylor Swift, and you said you kind of knew who she was. She's a big pop star here in the U.S., globally too. And my daughter and I more recently went to a Kendrick Lamar concert in Philadelphia. So, are you familiar with that artist, Kendrick Lamar and SZA?
Yeah, I've vaguely heard of him. Yeah.
He's a rapper. He's a rapper. Okay. Now we went there, and I'm telling you, in Philadelphia at the stadium, there was more weed in the air than there was oxygen. Like my daughter and I, my 15-year-old daughter and I, we were both high as the kites. People smoking weed everywhere. And what I noticed in the background while Kendrick Lamar and SZA were performing was this. They kept doing this. Now, do you have your reading glasses on? Do you see this eye in the background?
Let's aim to that. I mean the pump fakes and the Facebooks and the screw fakes when they look original. I mean the fake chains and the code names for the insecure but reassure you not to get. You overcompensate too much for the pussy. You like to throw all time to shade for the pussy. That's what you see in this world. I know the ways of a.
Yeah.
And then there's another shot of that eye. And then there's this like snake eyes here. Can you comment on something like this?
Just look at the dollar bill with the pyramid and the all-seeing eye at the top. The all-seeing eye. And if you look at animations on children's channels, you'll see compilations of either the eye alone or the pyramid with the eye at the top in all these different situations in children's animations. And symbolism is very, very powerful, and powerful for this reason. According to research, mainstream research, about 95% of human behavior response comes from the subconscious mind. And the conscious mind is a very small part of that decision-making process. And the subconscious mind communicates through symbols. I mean, we dream symbolically. We very rarely dream literally. It's symbolic. And so the communication is symbolism. And what they're after is they're after your subconscious mind, because they know that once it's in the subconscious, below threshold, subliminal, it will eventually filter through to the conscious mind. So you have subliminal advertisements whereby they'll put a symbol of something in an advertisement, which 95%, again, that figure of people don't see, but it's the subconscious sees everything. And the idea is that when you're going down the aisle of a supermarket or something, you'll be attracted to a product, and you won't really know why, but you'll be kind of attracted to it because into your subconscious mind has been planted that through a subliminal insert. And in one or two of my books, I've used a symbol, which is one that is a very simple picture, but there's a very it's clear when you see it, subliminal insert in it. And I tried it on people, and the vast, overwhelming majority don't see it. But what it is it's 4 plants, and the space between the plants spells the word sex. And this is the important thing. Once you've pointed out to people where the subliminal is, from that moment on, when they look at that picture, any other time, months ahead, years ahead, the first thing they see is the subliminal they couldn't see before, because the subconscious has been made conscious. And so what they're doing with these symbols is they're implanting, and again, you're looking at frequencies. That eye in the background represents a field of frequency, and it's entering the subconscious mind, and it's manipulating the perception of the subconscious mind, which eventually impacts upon the perceptions of the conscious mind. And therefore, you're absolutely right. When you see these concerts, Madonna concerts are a fantastic example. My God. You see this classic dark occult, because occult just means hidden, dark occult imagery and symbolism. You see it everywhere in these concerts and in these videos, which
But is there something to the one eye business? You know, like Lady Gaga and these people, like they keep doing this one eye. Is that connected to some satanic thing or some satanic symbol, a pledge of allegiance to the dark side? Is there something
yeah,
to that?
there's a number of symbols that they use, and again, you're taking a photographer, or you've got a photographer, and the photographer knows the game. He knows what he's doing. So he says to the star, "Can you just put your hand over one eye, because I think that'll look good. That'll be a good shot." And they go, "Oh, all right then," and they do it, and they've got the shot. And then there's other quote celebrities that are in on the game, often through horrendous upbringings, um, who will do it because they know what it means, and it's not always easy to know which is which. You've also got the butterfly. The butterfly is a symbol of mind control and things like aspects of MK Ultra. There was a part of the MK Ultra mind control project, which was run by the US government and military, and also into Canada as well, which came out some of it came out in the 1970s. And there was a part of that called the Monarch program, which was for elite women who were sexually abused by famous people, including presidents. But because of the mind control aspect of it, they didn't remember that until much later, when they were deprogrammed and all the memories came flooding back. And that was called the Monarch program, after the monarch butterfly. So the butterfly symbol is also one that it basically marks you. We own you when you do that. So yeah, the single eye is a massive symbol of this global cult, and it's put before us in endless ways to affect the subconscious. and therefore affect our perceptual state.
Okay. Hey, final question. I promise I'll let you go. But this is something that's I can't even believe I'm even bringing this up. It's very like awkward for me as a psychiatrist to even talk about this. I'm not sure if you know much about this, but there are a lot of people in the truther community who are, we've been calling out the moon landing, right? Have you seen footage of the 1969 moon landing? I mean, it's pretty laughable. It's a hoax.
There were 5,770 photographs taken on the lunar surface by the 12 astronauts.
The only proof you need to prove that the moon landings are fake is that one picture where an astronaut shadow is at 12 o'clock and a shadow from a rock 5 feet away is going at 9 o'clock. That's impossible to happen in sunlight.
From an analytical standpoint, photographic anomalies have to be sought out with an understanding of lighting and shadows. The most straightforward is simple. When objects are lit solely by the sun, as all the scenes on the moon were said to be, after all, lighting equipment was not only impractical, it was unnecessary in bright sunlight, then all shadows, regardless of the landscape, will run parallel with one another and never intersect, as shown by this example. In these seldom seen photographs, obtained from a rarely used auxiliary NASA archival site, it is clear that these scenes were lit with artificial light. These shadows, which are cast at different angles, are evidence that a second light source is being used. In addition, the sun would not cause an isolated hotspot like this, only an artificial light would. And again. It is simply impossible for this picture to have been taken with sunlight on the moon. Here, the shadows are shown to be as black as pitch. And yet here, completely in a shadow, the astronaut is lit up like a Christmas tree. How can this be?
And not to get into that, but there are a lot of people coming out and saying that the spacewalks are filmed underwater and that the marble blue globe of planet Earth is all CGI generated. And there are tons of compelling information video out there of people talking about how the Earth may be flat. Have you had a chance to look into that? Is it possible that the Earth may be flat? And I used to laugh at that, but now with some of the content out there, I'm starting to see certain things that I didn't want to see.
We want to go from New Zealand to Argentina, which is right about here. And it's a direct path. Can definitely make it in one shot. So let's see what Google Flights has to say. Auckland to Argentina. Just making up a date here. Explore. Okay, now we're going to select Buenos Aires. Let's go ahead and select the first flight. Here are our options. Okay, so on United we have Auckland going to San Francisco, San Francisco to Houston, Houston finally into Buenos Aires. But why? That seems like a waste of gas to go from Auckland all the way to San Francisco, over to Texas, and then all the way down to Argentina. Okay, now hear me out. Let's see what the flat Earth model depicts. You just have to see this for yourself. Look at this. So this is New Zealand. Aha, San Francisco, Houston, down to Argentina. You would not be able to make it on one take.
And, if you even look at the UN logo, it's a picture of the flat Earth, and it's surrounded by the ice walls of Antarctica. Have you looked into any of that? Because there are people claiming that there are lands outside of the ice walls of Antarctica.
Yeah, well, the UN symbol also has the world in its gun sights, of course. But I've worked all the way through this intuitively. I've gone with where my intuition tells me to go, and it's been incredibly effective in uncovering all of this stuff. And intuitively, I'm not saying it's right, it's wrong. Intuitively, I've never been drawn there. So I've not gone there. I've seen, one or two things, and I've seen other ones that are claiming that's not true and all that stuff. So I've seen the for and against, but not in enormous detail. In the end, anything becomes possible because we live in a simulation. It's a simulated reality. I go into this in my books in enormous detail, and it's becoming more and more supported by even a lot of more mainstream scientists that it does look like we're in a simulation. So if you're in a simulation, anything's possible because you can simulate anything in the end. But I've never been drawn to that whole area. And so I've not gone there in a way that I can talk in detail about it.
Gotcha. When's your next book coming out?
It's going to come out in the first week of January. It would come out earlier, but getting stuff to America and circulating and shipping is becoming a more and more of a challenge in terms of time and finance. Come to that. So it takes a while to get it out there, but it will be launched on the I think it's the 6th of January. And I think they're the best things, if not the best thing I've ever done.
Really?
It's been done for a specific reason. I see people getting bits of the picture which relate to them. But that part of the picture which people are focusing on, like Trump and stuff, actually connects to this part of the picture and this part, and this part, and this part. So it's kind of showing how they fit together and what the real control mechanism is, what the real control motivation is. And people like Trump and Harris and Biden and Obama, they are so much at the gopher level. They are just here today, gone tomorrow people. The real controlling force is always there, no matter who's in political power. And that's why I have been shouting very loudly as I can, about this ring fencing of the alternative media that focuses only on the political level and financial level and the levels that connect into that, because the real level is never talked about. And when I hear people like Alex Jones and his like saying now that the deep state is the Democrats, it's incredibly depressing, because the Democrats and the Republicans, the Labour Party and the Conservative Party and the Reform Party and all these different parties around the world, they're just gophers for many reasons, known and unknown, of that force. And until that force is identified and focused upon, then we're basically rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic and deciding which pawn of the same force we're going to give our lives away to for the next 4 or 5 years.
So is the book titled Control or The Next Level? Can you give us a little juice?
Well, you have the political level. They're here today, gone tomorrow. They're scandals, whatever. It's one of the reasons they love to put people into power who have massive things to hide, because they are easily controlled. This is why Israel knows more about American politicians than American politicians do themselves. And so you've got that level. But then you go to the level behind them, which is the advisors. That's where the real power is, in terms of politics directly. But then you go up and back and back and back and back, deeper and deeper into the shadows until you reach this inner circle of this global cult, which is driving the direction of the world. And you see this common response from this central mission control, where virtually every country in the world, not quite everyone, but virtually everyone, reacted in the same way, especially in the West. And you then look at, it's like you've got to look at actions, not words. Words are easy because you say anything. Actions. What's the action? What's the outcome? So you have in this country, the UK, a government under Keir Starmer, who is in Washington at the moment, I think, talking about Ukraine. And that is a deeply cult-owned government run by complete morons, which is fantastic for the cult because they'll just do what you tell them. And they're destroying freedom of speech. And then you've got people like J.D. Vance and Trump. Vance, who's just been to Britain and lambasting Britain for its attacks on freedom of speech, when they're doing exactly the bloody same in America in terms of freedom of speech. So it doesn't even matter that one is said to be a left-wing government and one a right-wing government. The outcome is what matters. What is the outcome? And when you think that the planned outcome is this AI human fusion, and it's a dystopian, in the end, military-controlled global society that we're looking at, then you see the stepping stones to it in what Trump did in Los Angeles with the National Guard, military, and the Marines, what he's doing in Washington, D.C., highly symbolic as the capital city, what he says he's going to do in Chicago and other cities. These are all stepping stones to this dystopia. And the Labour Party in Britain and the European Union, completely cult-owned, as are China and Russia and all these bloody places, they are moving towards dystopia by a slightly different route, using slightly different rhetoric, but it's the same dystopia. And this is the common theme that people need to grasp and withdraw themselves from this fine detail of the Trump or Harris and see that actually a force in the hidden is running the whole show. And these people you think are running your country are just gophers who do as they're told.
Thank you for that. So do you have a name, a title for the book?
It's called The Roadmap.
The Roadmap.
Because that's exactly what it is.
You heard it first. You heard it here first. The Roadmap is coming out January 6th. I'm hoping that maybe in the new year we could do another live and get the word out there, you know?
Yeah. I will send you a copy of the book and then you can read it and ask me questions on it.
I'll make a video with my kids. Well, I'll help you promote it.
Hey, Sophia. What are you reading?
I'm reading The Trap by David Icke.
Sure, girlfriend. Why don't you tell me what The Trap's all about?
Okay, just imagine this. You put on a virtual reality headset
when you come into this world. You come out of the womb and you put a headset on. And the headset is feeding you a sense of reality. The experience when you put a headset on and you do these virtual reality things is that you experience it and it can seem very, very real. You see people how they react to what's happening. And when you take it off, you know that's a headset. Imagine if you put a headset on and you never took it off. And your entire life was spent with the information of that headset. So you go to bed, the headset's on. You wake up, the headset's on. The headset's on through your young life into old age, and the headset's still on when you leave the world. All you've had is the information the headset has fed you. So what's going to be your sense of reality if you do that? It's going to be what the headset tells you it is. And that, symbolically, is basically
what happens from cradle to grave.
Of course. Well, how about you keep doing your thing, girl, and I'll keep pursuing my wellness journey.
Okay.
David Icke, thank you so much. God bless you, man. Thank you
Cheers.
so much for your time.
All the
Appreciate
best.
you.
Bye.
I don't even have to say much on this one, people. This one is fully loaded. But what really got me in stitches, people, got me falling off my seat was when David said, hey, many of people talk about AI dystopia coming and this AI control. But they're the same ones saying, Alexia, can you do this? Gemini, can you do this? Siri, can you do this? Get off your lazy ass and do it. Whoa, David, brilliantly put. Brilliantly put. Get off your ass and do these basic things for yourself. You're asking AI, what's about the Epstein file? What about that? What about... Hey! People are so lazy nowadays, people. It's actually insane. So lazy. But again, another brilliantly put video, people. This whole AI China race. And this video, people, it couldn't come at a better time. It couldn't come at a better, because yesterday was China military parade with AI infusion with the modern warfare that's coming. And now this video. Yeah, it was recorded from August 18, but it was just perfect timing that now it's coming, people. Absolutely amazing. But we continue with the fight. We go on and on. Love, people.